so good to be with you. We've made it through. This is the final part of our series. This is so exciting. We're in the final day of our series, and we have been doing live stream now for 4 weeks total. So that's amazing. 3 times a week we've done live streams, and here we are together in our final live stream of this series. And I jumped on board to do these live streams because of this shift right now in our world. All right, so here we are together, kind of joining in this celebration live stream, as it were, because this is the final live stream in this particular series. And I want to thank you for being here. It's my joy to be with you. It's really my heart's joy to be with you and to help us create this community together. And that's you. You're very much a part of this community, and you're welcome in our community. And it is a joy to be here with you. Okay? So here we are again. We remember to start with receptivity. We remember to start with the beginner's mind and the beginner's heart. And on that note, I'm going to go through just a few logistics so we're all aware of what's going to happen ongoing. Okay? So this entire series of live streams is going to be on my Patreon page. So I will have every live stream we've completed in March and April. It's going to be on my Patreon page, and you'll see how to sign up for Patreon in the text below the video. And you may remember we've covered the harsh inner critic, haven't we? Oh, that was a big topic. We've covered hypervigilance. That was another big topic, right? And we've actually covered the process of trauma and transformation. So there's a lot on that in this series, and it's going to be in the full set. It's going to be on Patreon by the end of this weekend. So go ahead and check out the Patreon page, all right? Also, if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, please sign up for the newsletter, because I'm going to be announcing some special curriculums coming up just for us in our community, all right? So sign up for the newsletter and you'll get the latest information, okay? All right, so how you doing today? How you feeling today? Is it time to gather for another big group hug today? I think it might be time to gather for another big group hug, right? The celebration series on the 18th of April. And the 19th, if you're perhaps Stefan over there in New Zealand, and Stefan often chimes in and comes into our live stream. Okay, so he would be actually on the 19th. But here we are, a global community is together. And we always remember to kind of take haven here, to rest and come to a place of ease and come to a place of safety, because we have an understanding of the journey of childhood adversity, of trauma and transformation. And today, I would like to describe the entire process so our discerning mind, our discriminatory powers of the mind, can kick into place and see this journey logically and understand the entire journey. And in past live streams, I've emphasized how important it is, especially those of us who've experienced trauma, to bring along the discriminatory powers of our minds. Because the mind will help feed our identity, something that may have been stripped from us when we were younger. It will help feed our authentic self, our individual identity, and the discriminatory powers of the mind will say, this way, not that way, maybe this way, maybe this for later. So I always want to empower you. And I'm going to describe the entire journey of trauma and transformation and how they work together. You ready? You excited? Okay. If you want to get a notebook out. If you want to get your drink candy, get your drink candy. Okay, cheers to you. Cheers to all of us. Cheers. It's green tea, by the way. All right. So remember in a previous live stream when I took out my very high-tech teaching tool of the piece of paper, and I said, all right, that piece of paper is, I was making an analogy that this is the landscape of all life, that this is the essence of our being, and we arise from that landscape of all life. So I used a blank piece of paper to make an analogy, that is the base of our being. And every time we do something we really love, singing, woodworking, meditation, being out in nature, anything you love, you're touching that essence of your being. And you're saying, remember, this is who you are. This is where you came from. Remember? Okay? So when we come from that essence, we have this essence built into us. It's already part of you. It's inside of you. That's so exciting. Then we're born. And the imprints are placed upon us, the imprints of childhood. Now, do you remember in the previous live stream when I said some of those imprints are really diminishing? Some of those imprints are really messed up. Other imprints are imprints we want to keep throughout our life, perhaps resilience. And remember how I said a third imprint is the imprints that we carry with us a little bit of time, a coping mechanism, a little bit of time. Like, I got to get through this, so I'm going to put my big boy, big girl boots on and brow, right? And we say that imprint is a period that will work for a period of time, but then it gets too tight, like a tight old shoe. We got to take it off. We got to step into something new. Okay, so these imprints are laid down upon us. And many of us are caught in these imprints for a period of time. And they drive our life over and over and over again. And we look for the coping mechanisms. And you and I and others have had so many coping mechanisms. And you'll notice these coping mechanisms will start to wear out. Okay, initially the coping mechanism will just be like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, let's say for instance, alcohol. Some people who have experienced trauma turn to alcohol at a young age, like 6th, 7th grade. And it's just like, oh, I'm out of this trauma, coping mechanism. But then we evolve, we grow, the coping mechanism doesn't work, and we might switch to another coping mechanism, and that doesn't work after a period of time. And then we go to another coping mechanism, and we start to recognize that these coping mechanisms aren't working. And then, this is important, this is how this weaves in to the journey of transformation. Then, at that moment, we may become fragile and ask, is there something more? Could there be something more? This is an important moment because that is the moment of awakening. That's all awakening is. When we turn to the question of, well, who am I really? Am I that thought that said you're not good enough? Am I that emotion of fear? We'll start to question, who am I really? And that is an important moment. A very important moment. And that's the moment of awakening. That's all it is. And this jump starts the journey of transformation, and we pair it with the trauma, and we become more interested. We start to educate ourselves. We start to gain more awareness. And sometimes it's very painful because the old storyline that we bought into of the family, of the domination, the superiority, the manipulation, we didn't know any better. We had full on bought into that storyline, diminished ourselves in the process. And it can be very, very painful when that moment of awakening arises, because we'll start to question, is there more? Who am I really? And then we start to pair the trauma, the past imprints, with this rising, awakening force, the insights that we'll have. And it can be completely disorienting. And it can be exhilarating. And it can be confusing and seem chaotic. Like, did that really happen to me? Did I just have that vision or see those colors or feel exhilarated from the inside out? Something perhaps I'd never felt in my entire life. Did that really happen? And it will kind of turn our world upside down, but in the best of possible ways. Because it's a remembrance, something that we know, something intuitive, like an ancient wisdom that we re-access, that comes back to us. And we start to connect with this ancient wisdom that lives within, this deeper knowing. And this consciousness that is reactivated, reclaimed, then starts to inform the trauma. This is very important, because this consciousness that's rising in you and me and everyone in our community, it will start to inform the trauma. It will start to inform the old imprints. And we'll start to see things differently. And the discriminatory mind will start to make sense of things and say, wait a minute, that really did happen. And if that did happen, and if I'm no longer diminishing myself, I have the potential to rise above that thought that kept me on lockdown so long. So this rising consciousness, once we're awake, this growing resurgence, re-emergence of awareness, of consciousness, will start to inform the trauma, the imprints. Are you with me on this? And it'll start to get into those corners, those dusty corners. You know, the end of the breath. I talk about the end of the breath. The end of the breath. It'll start to get in those dusty corners and inform those imprints that were laid down. And this is exciting. And do you know in the live streams how I've encouraged you, invited you to really take note of the qualities of you, of your consciousness, of your depths. And I've invited you to really notice those qualities, the contentment, the sense of fullness, the sense of ease. I've invited you to connect with those qualities so you, without a shadow of a doubt, can know them as the very base of your being, the essence of your being. So you're not giving your power away to me or anybody else. So you can connect with the qualities of your consciousness. Okay? So when we've taken this journey during our live streams, we've journeyed into meditation, and I always say it's an invitation. Meditation is who you are. It's not what you do. It's who you are. And by connecting deeply with the qualities of your consciousness, it will now inform the trauma. It will inform the adversity, will inform the imprints. It will loosen up the fogginess. And as I've said in the past live streams, we want to be patient with this process, because as your consciousness in your meta energies, the great energies, inform the imprints, remember your central nervous system may have experienced years of diminishment. So we want to be patient with our humanity and bring our humanity along and say, here it is. And see the journey, the amazing unfolding of this journey where you bring trauma full cycle. You are doing this. If you're on this channel with me, you're on the full cycle, the real thing. Because what happens for most of us, is we'll have the awakening, we'll seek a therapist. That's wonderful. Therapy is great. I'm all for it. And then your mind will go to the therapist, and your therapist may respond with his or her mind, and it will be mind meeting mind. And a therapist may be very well studied in his or her diagnosis. That's wonderful. But then some of us get labeled in a category, and we feel, I shall forever be in that category. And that is my imprint now going forth. At some point this gets old, and at some point some of you will develop more expanded, I'm not saying better, but more expanded awareness than your therapist. Know this. Where you start to connect the very essence of your being with the trauma. And again, the consciousness that informs the trauma, and you have these insights, and you know that you have to step forward into a greater expression of the self and rest in the depth of your being. So sometimes a therapist will be with you for a month. Wonderful. Sometimes they'll be with you for a year. They've cleared a little bit of part of the jungle. Come on. Sometimes a really, really great mentor or teacher or therapist or friend, whatever you want to call them, will be with you for a very, very long time. Because they will speak to you from the inside out. And when you're with them, you will continue to have these light switches turned on inside. I know that. Oh yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And that particular mentor will feed you, nourish you, and help you turn on the light switches again and again and again. And you'll have these aha moments, and it won't be their power trip. They'll be feeding you. They will be feeding you your aha moments, your empowerment. They'll say, you go. You got this. Okay? So this is why taking the imprints, the adversity, the trauma laid down during childhood, it's so important to pair it with a journey of transformation. We awaken to this amazing life force that is forever in the cycle of creation, sustenance, in other words, sustaining life. So the creation, the life force creates, the life force sustains life. Right now, we're being sustained. The life force also dissolves life, like the fruit going down into the earth and the compost, so the journey can continue again. Creation, sustaining, dissolution, dissolving, compost. And at the same time, concealment. We talked about that in another live stream, a previous live stream. Concealment. I cannot know what I cannot know. When you were younger, you didn't know. The past actions you took, you didn't know. It's okay. It's part of our humanity. We take those moments when we were concealed. We did not know what we did not know. And then ultimately, when we are awake being, what's the definition? Remember the definition I said earlier of being awake? There's more to life. I know there's more to life. Then we have the joy of the revelation. Aha! There's more. There's more. I welcome. I'm receptive. I have the beginner's mind. That's why we start every live stream with a beginner's mind, a sense of curiosity, because we welcome the revelation. And at the same time, we know that we know not. In other words, when we are veiled or we feel like we don't understand, the concealment, that's very purposeful. We cannot know what we do not know, right? And we accept that as part of our humanity, and it's okay. And then we'll have the aha moment, the joy of the aha moment. Breathe. So I've done my very best in about, 20 minutes here to describe this journey and how we pair trauma, the imprints, the residue, with transformation, with the awakening, and how our consciousness will get in there now and naturally start to clear out the foggy areas, and how our consciousness will naturally loosen the imprints for each of us. So it's the consciousness, our growing consciousness, that we are reclaiming, actually. Not going up the ladder. I've talked about that too. Not going up the ladder. We're reclaiming this consciousness that is the landscape of our being. We're resting there. We're resting there. The direct path. Remember, I've talked about the direct path. And it's there in this reclamation of all that you are. It will start to inform your imprints. Oh, I'm not the thought. Oh, I'm not that idea that I got when somebody diminished me and abused me. I'm not. Right? We're much more than that. You are. Let's breathe and receive. Breathe again and receive. Really turn on the receptivity channels. Like, bring it, you guys. This is our final live stream in this series. Again, all of it's going to be on Patreon. You can go to Patreon and you can access the past series. This is our grand finale, okay? Let's bring it. Open, 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 open. Receptivity. Remember how I talked about Ganesh over here? Ganesh over there? He removes obstacles through receptivity, through openness of being. My heart's so happy to be with you. I'm so happy that you understand the message, and just the right people will come to this channel. You know that. I know that, right? If you resonate with this message, it's perfect for you. And I'm seeing over on the chat right now that some of you are resonating with this message. And I want you to know that I do all I can with the sincerity of my heart to describe this journey. The things that you feel and your aha moments, when you have your insights, it's not chaotic, it's not happenstance, it's not magical or mystical. It's a very logical unfolding that the discriminatory power of your mind can connect with. It's logical, it's not magical and mystical. It's an unfolding, tailor-made for your journey. Your journey. Breathe again. And let's smile from the inside out. This brings it full circle, my sweet ones, my beloveds. Those imprints, the confusion, the diminishment that was placed upon you, it brings it full circle. So going forward, I want to encourage you to connect with the depths of your being. I don't care how you do it, whatever hobby you have. Maybe you love woodworking. Do that. Maybe you love going out and talking to the trees. Do that. Maybe you love to sing. Maybe you love macrame. Whatever it is that helps you, your sweet one, connect with the depth of your being. Do that. And really do it. Dive into it. And notice how you feel. And notice how those old diminishing imprints can feel like they're left in the dust. And your spirit feels bright again, and you can feel like you can breathe again, and your heart feels full again. And you know others out there are just like you and just like us, and we are connecting across the planet. And do you know what is so beautiful when you immerse yourself in the things that you love to do, this is exquisite. The ego doesn't have any point of reference, and you're free. I'm going to say that again. This brings tears to my eyes. Your ego won't have any point of reference. It's not dissociation. You are free. You've brought along your identity. You've asked who you are. Your discerning mind has come along for the ride. And when you do what you really, really love to do, notice how your ego isn't making yourself right or wrong or diminishing others, but you're released from that reference point that keeps you on lockdown. Are you with me? And it's amazing. And that is what's being extended to you. Let's breathe. I'm going to go over here and let's take that in. Just keep being receptive. I'm going over to the chat for a little bit over here. Aw, I love you guys. Farha, beautiful. Heart as wide as the world. Heart as wide as the world. For you guys and with all of you guys. Heart as wide as the world. Okay. You guys, let's take a journey together. We are in this together. And I thank you for being receptive. I thank you for being open. I thank you for taking the imprints of the past and really making something of them by awakening with them. Amazing. You've done that. You stood with courage in your body through this. And now here we are. And now here we are. All right, let's take a seated position today. All of us seated. And we'll take our hands palms up. Why? Because that's more receptive. Just notice when you have your palms down, it's not quite as receptive. So we're going to take our hands palms up. Breathe and receive and sweetly close the eyes, just sweetly, with such ease, with such appreciation for your journey, with such love for your humanity, the humanness of it all, the poignant humanness of it all, the poignant humanness of it all. And as you close your eyes, smile. Because you, my dear one, have come full circle. You've awakened. You've recognized that there is something more. You know this. And that great life force that courses through you has guided you exquisitely. Yes, there have been scenic detours. Yes, there's been confusion. But it's guided you exquisitely, and you have persevered, and you have come to the place where you've reclaimed the knowing of yourself, the authentic self, the very truth of your being with a capital T. You have come full circle. Breathe and receive. And exhale out the world weariness. Exhale out the old imprints. The consciousness has shown on those old imprints. Exhale out that fogginess, that confusion. Really exhale it out. Let it go. Let it go. Out it goes. And that lightness of being reemerges, that lightness of being when you were a young one, that you hoped for and prayed for, that love reemerges as you exhale out the fogginess, as you exhale out those old imprints. This lightness of being, this purity, the purity of you, the purity of your being. Emerges, reemerges. And in this purity, we continue to settle. And in this purity, we continue to smile. And in this purity, the ancient wisdom, the inner knowing, washes over us the truth of our being, the ancient, ancient wisdom of you. Washes over any confusion, any old imprints. And the purity continues to rise and expand as the ancient wisdom washes over the confusion. And in that purity, there's a knowing, a connection with the depth of your being that goes back to that mighty cable I first spoke of in this series. And that mighty cable is pure and unbreakable. We breathe here, we drink it in here. We recreate, we reclaim this truth of our being, so be it. Drink it in. And in the content smile of knowingness, of knowing, the content smile, take a moment to really deeply connect with these qualities of your consciousness that are always there for you, always have been, always will be, always abiding. This was the magnetic truth that called you to awaken. This was the magnetic truth that called you to awaken and ask, was there more? There is more. Oh my gosh. And it's this magnetic truth of your being that creates the aha moments, that creates the insights, that says, dear one, come this way in the confusion. Come this way in the fog. Come to your inner teacher. Come to the truth of your being magnetically, because you're freer, because you're complete, because the confusion lessens. And you bring the trauma full cycle, full circle, and you've used it wisely, my dear one. You're magnetically drawn to your being with a capital B, to this unconditional, this field of unconditional love. That's what it is. Again, breathe and receive. This is your inner truth. This is the field that will call you time and time again. This is the field that awakened you. This is the field that helped you navigate through the journey of trauma and guided you wisely and shall forever guide you wisely. Breathe and receive, so be it. This is the touchstone from now on that will call you time and time again, and you are aware that this touchstone, this inner truth, this ancient wisdom is calling you time and time again, and we shall forever go there. Rather than the confusion of the outer world, we shall ever go magnetically toward the inner truth, the inner compass, the inner teacher. No more catastrophic living on the outside with the confusion of imprints, the cacophony of imprints. That's not our touchstone anymore. The touchstone is this truth of your being that has magnetically drawn you ever since you were born to come back home. This is this is the cycle, brought full cycle. The cycle of trauma and transformation brought full journey. Exhale out again, any fogginess, any confusion, exhale it out. And we'll slowly open the eyes. Do you feel a shift inside? A natural, organic sense of empowerment, not egoic empowerment, but a sense of connection with a deeper truth, a deeper wisdom, a deeper knowledge. This is what shines upon the traumas and the imprints. Okay, let's go over to the chat. There's a little bit of delay on the streaming software, so just know that I'm going to go over to the chat. And please, if you have any questions now or anything you would like to share for these final minutes of the live stream in this series, we've done this 4 weeks. If there's anything, any final question, anything you'd like to share, please go ahead and add it to the chat. And again, to reiterate, the full series will be on Patreon, on my Patreon account. I've tried to make this very affordable to all, for everyone around the globe, because I recognize our dollars, our money, which is just energy, that's all, will have various values in various countries. If you get on Patreon, I've tried to make it as affordable as possible. And I'm hoping that this library of live streams is a great resource for you. It'll be on fully by the end of the weekend, okay? All right, I'm going to go over to the chat right now. Allison, thank you. Kat, beautiful, very powerful message to take away. Thank you so much, Kat. Allison, a little girl emerged, her wisdom. Beautiful, who was always a part of you, Allison. That wisdom was always a part of you. And when she emerges with the little girl and the wisdom of the little one, please know it will continue to grow into the wisdom of the great ancient goddess, the great creative goddess, right? And I don't know, there's just qualities that we'll connect with in our depths, okay? All right. Anything else here over in the live stream? Beautiful. I really wanted to bring this full circle on this final day of our live stream. I hope I've done that. I hope I've empowered you. And I'm, with some of the names over here I'm seeing on the live stream, I know some of you have been in touch to ask about some online sessions. I will be in touch today to book those. And for those of you who are interested in online sessions, please go ahead and be in touch with me. And I did have someone inquire yesterday from Australia again about the global dollar, wanting to know about the global dollar. And with the world upset right now, especially, I am considering that for all of us, okay? Because I want everyone to have access to this. Please know, something that's so beautiful about the journey of trauma and transformation and consciousness is that consciousness is an equal access opportunity for all. I love that. It doesn't matter your job title. It doesn't matter your education. It doesn't matter your country. It doesn't matter your culture. That's so beautiful. So it's an equal access opportunity. It's equal access for all. All it takes to access is that first question of who am I really? And a desire to pursue that question as you have. So it takes the question and then the desire inside to, I am going to pursue this. I'm going to really pursue that. And it's an equal access opportunity for all. All of us. So beautiful. All right. We're going to close this beautiful 4-week series. We're going to close now. And let's close together today. And let's close with a sense of completion in this particular cycle, but also a sense of awe, a sense of beginner's mind, and a sense of empowerment. So as we close, we're going to thank the discriminatory power of the mind. Thank you, dear mind. You've gotten me through confusion. You've helped me learn and grow, and you've helped me know what to connect with in an authentic way that's true to my being. Thank you, dear mind. You're awesome. You're amazing. You are and have been an important part of this journey. Thank you so much. To my heart, dear heart, I know at times you've been fragile, and we've made it through. The experiences we've had in our life never shut my heart down, never shut your heart down. Your heart, my heart, our hearts have beat so loyally over the years. We take a moment to thank the dear heart. And our dear heart has the resilience and the fortitude to see through the confusion, to no longer be an emotional doormat for the world, but instead to step forward with the fullness of the heart, the strength of the heart, the ever steady beating of the heart, the loyalty of the heart, the courage of the heart. Thank you, my dear heart. To the soul, our individual souls on this journey that's tailor-made for each of us. Thank the soul, your soul, who's filling in a unique part of the tapestry of your life, tailor-made for you. Thank you, my dear soul. Together we're filling in a part of the tapestry. And it feels so good to fill in the part of the tapestry with various threads and various colors. Thank you to the individual soul. Because we're learning and we're growing and we're evolving, and this is so exciting. And we bring it all home to consciousness itself, to the very nature of our being, to the creative life force itself. It goes by many names. What most resonates with you? Nature? Christ consciousness? The Tao? Offer your gratitude for this, knowing that this is a part of all of us. This great life force moves through us, guides us. We're magnetically drawn to that inner truth, that inner teacher, that North Star. Breathe and receive. So be it. So be it. So be it. Please be in touch for your sessions as Aspired. I've got your back. I got your back. I will do my very best not to let you down. I'm sending a lot of love to you. You have got this. You have got this. I'm just a cheerleader on the side. A nice one. Not the one with the black and blue pom-poms. Remember that one from the previous live stream? No. I'm just the choir director. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep like bringing it. I got your back. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Much love to you. Bye, dear one.